Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to do a quick review, tabletop talk on this Archon Firearms Type B Gen 2. It's also got a Swamp Fox Justice 2 on it as well. I really like that dot, so we'll talk about it a little bit as well. I've only had this for less than 2 weeks, but I did get to shoot it in competition just less than a week before I even got it in my hands. So that was kind of interesting because there was some things I kind of had to work out, and there was some things that needed to be fixed before I felt like it was good enough to run in competition. So we're going to talk about some of those things and let you kind of know what I like and what I don't like about this gun. And the things I don't like can mostly be fixed, however, and some of the things already have been fixed, but we're going to talk about some things we're going to work on some more. And I think there was a lot of hype behind this gun because hardly anybody got to shoot it. Hardly anybody's got to own one of these. There's very few out in the world today as far as comparing it to a Glock. That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's a lot of these out there in people's hands, but compared to a Glock or even a CZ or a Beretta or Smith & Wessons, you know, these are hard to find. You don't hardly see them in gun stores very often. So I think that's why the hype is able to build up like it is. Now, first off, let's just say this is a good looking firearm, okay guys? I mean, just the way these curves are and everything on this slide, and the way the slide indentions are, even the frame looks pretty good. There's nothing bad you can say. Even the trigger, the metal trigger out of the box, the long beaver tail, I mean, it's just a good looking gun, guys. So that, I think, feeds on the hype of this gun. So a lot of people has wanted it, but because you don't find it or see it many places, that not many people has gotten it. And I can tell you that that's good and bad for the gun. One thing is you don't get a lot of real honest reviews on this gun. A lot of people have probably got this gun sent to them, and some of the things said about it, you know, is probably not exactly unbiased, I guess, because they were sent the gun. So we're going to talk about some of those things, and we want to discuss the pros and the cons of this gun. And about any gun that has a lot of cons or pros and cons to it, if it has a lot of cons to it, most of those cons can be fixed. That's the good thing about these firearms. Most of the problems are simple and can be worked out if you know what you're doing, or a gunsmith can help you work them out as well. So yeah, that's a good looking firearm, guys. I want to kind of, I guess I need to start getting on topic here about what we like and what we don't like. First off, let's start off with the thing I hated the worst about it out of the box, and that was the mag release. I'm going to tell you several things about it. One thing, this plastic piece right here was flush with the end of the magazine release, and so being able to push this button was kind of difficult. Also, another thing about it is this screw that goes on here that holds the magazine in place, the whole magazine release in place, was actually set inside about 1 millimeter or 2, and there was sharp edges around that, and I did not like that. So when you would go, you kind of had to press down, straight down and in, and when you did that, you felt those sharp edges around that screw. I've since remedied that by doing two things. I bought a little rubber washer set, a rubber gasket set I should say, and I put a rubber gasket under this screw here and a rubber gasket in between this piece and the inner piece, so that it extended it out about 0.5 millimeter. So what that does is it raises the release just a hair to where you can press it easier, and it doesn't allow for those sharp edges to be felt when you press the release. So that's what I hated the worst about it. The other thing I hated about the release, which was several things, and one thing I will say negative about this as well, is basically, guys, this is like a 5 or 6 part magazine release. Some of these other magazine releases, you know, they may have 2 or 3 parts to them at tops, at best, but this one right here has like 5 or 6 part. It has a spring, it has a little lever and a thing that catches the mags that has to come out with a pin, so it has a pin as part of it as well, and this thing tilts out and it pulls the lever. It's just a very complicated mag release is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to go into too much details, and so that brought some problems of itself. But let's go into this part. So this other side of the mag release, this from factory, this side of the release set flush with this plastic piece. This plastic piece is raised about 2 or 3 millimeters from the grip. And what happens that's negative about this is when you grip the gun, you're gripping as high as possible. You're gripping that finger over that release. So when you go to press the button while you're gripping, my fingers are a little short, so I do have to re-grip a little bit. But what it was doing, unless I moved this finger down or over, I couldn't hardly get the mag to drop because this was sticking out 4 or 5 millimeters from the grip. So what I did is I simply took this piece out, took the mag release out, and went to the bench grinder and grinded this thing down about 2 or 3 millimeters to give way so that it would not press against my finger on the other side when I press the button. And it still does press against my finger a little, but it doesn't press against it enough to keep the magazine from dropping. So that's really all I wanted to do. You got to be careful when you do stuff like this, because you could get yourself in a pickle and a mess and have to order new parts if you're not careful. But everything worked out in that regard. And let's go into another thing I don't like about the mag release. So not only were those some problems I had, so it was hard to press the button. The other side would stick out and press on my finger on the other side. This little sharp edges would kind of hurt your finger, and I've got pretty tough fingers. I work with carpet samples all day, so the backing of carpet is very sandpaper like, so my fingers are pretty tough, but it would still not feel comfortable to press this button. So the other thing, after fixing all those things, this mag release would still be sticky sometimes, and the more I play with it, the more I shoot it, the better it gets. But when I first got it, it was extremely sticky, and I was like, oh no, that's gonna be a problem, because as many guns as I've had, I realized that sticky mag releases, especially in competition, will get you in a lot of trouble. And sure enough, guys, this did get me in trouble in the last competition, which I only had 18 rounds through the gun when I shot the competition. But yeah, this mag release, actually, I think at first I thought it was me. I thought I wasn't seating the magazines in far enough. So I thought I was maybe not pressing them in far enough. Let me show you. So I thought I wasn't pressing them in far enough, but these mags go in very easy, and so that didn't make a lot of sense, but I kind of blamed myself. But then it happened again in the competition, and I realized it was just because this was probably sticking, the button was sticking in when I loaded the mag, and it never did lock. And so that was a problem, guys. I mean, the mag release, out of the box, I'd give it a 2 out of 10. I've actually, since the competition, I just went in and polished the mag release some more. I polished it before I went to competition because I was worried about it, but I did a real quick job. This time I took it apart and I spent more time polishing the edges and polishing where the contact parts are. And I think I've got it taken care of. I don't think it's going to be a problem anymore. So I think everything about this mag release now is okay. I think it's a good 9 out of 10 now that I've had to put a couple hours of work into it. I think this mag release will be great. But out of the box, for an $800 gun, striker fire, very poor job on the mag release, I think. Just several things about it I did not like. And guys, I don't want to send a gun back just to get a mag release fixed when they're going to send it back in the factory configuration, which I didn't like to begin with. So it's not going to do me any good, because they would have still had this flush with this plastic piece, which I hated and was no good for competition. And so that's fixed now because I messed with it and because I did what I knew needed to be done. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. The trigger. So I heard on Facebook, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, how good this trigger was. Has one of the best striker fire triggers. You hear that with every gun. So I had high expectations. Well, I get it, and it's kind of a medium weighted, gritty, kind of a lot of take up. It has a good reset, decent break, but gritty and kind of spongy. 5.5, 6 pound trigger out of the box. And I was like, this just ain't gonna cut it. I paid $800 for this gun. So I went ahead and took the thing apart. Every piece of this gun was taken apart inside the frame. Not inside the slide yet, I haven't done that. But inside the frame, every piece of this modular slide has been taken apart and polished where it needed to be, and adjusted the springs a little bit. So now it breaks right around 4 pounds. It's a lot smoother than it was. There's still a slight bit of grit, but that's a whole lot smoother. There's hardly no sponginess or grittiness to that take up. And then you get on the wall and you pull through a little bit and it breaks pretty crisp, right around 4 pounds. So we dropped it about 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds, and it's a lot better to shoot in competition or even for self-defense. It was just a little too gritty to put off accurate shots, in my opinion. Could it have been broken in with thousands of rounds and, you know, running through that much ammo? Yeah, maybe some, but I think it would have took 5,000 rounds just to get it close to this, and I still don't think it would have made it to this point. So just a little bit of work, guys, that makes a big difference. And we might continue to do some more on the trigger, but the way this trigger is made, it's easy to work on, but if you do too much, you could throw it off unless you change all the springs out for new springs and you have them all set up and configured to work with each other. And it's not really a good gun to sit there and do a lot of work if you don't know what you're doing, because you could really screw up the gun's ability to reset. And for this dingus safety, it's kind of got like a tilting trigger, but it's the whole trigger, so it feels pretty good, but it's just a little bit different. But yeah, trigger's good now. It was what I would say very normal or almost in the bad when it was brand new, but a lot of guns are when they're brand new too. But this is an $800 gun. I kind of had higher expectations out of it. This is turning into a gun I really like, guys, so I don't want to I'm sounding really negative right now, but this gun is turning into a gun I really like. But I'm just telling you, out of the box, there was a lot of things I was disappointed with. One thing, so the mag release is good now, and the trigger's good now. Not great, good. It's just good. But out of the box, they weren't that great. The slide release is good. Slide release out of the box is good. The serrations out of the box are good. So we're not going to cover that because it's good. The design of the gun, the internals of the gun, the way it's put together and built, very good. I really like it. The way it's designed it should be an extremely reliable gun. We had no malfunctions, even though it was the first really 100 rounds we put through the gun. We had no malfunctions in the competition, besides the mags dropping out because this mag release was hanging up. And I think that's fixed, guys, like we said. Some other things we like about it. This has a real huge mag well built into the gun, and I don't think no other videos really show this, but this is a really nice mag well, guys, and you'll really like that. So that's great out of the box. The grips, I like the ergonomics of the grips, but these regular rubber grips are not grippy enough. They're just not good enough for competition. They're not good enough for tactical reasons. But the good thing is with this gun, it's customizable. I wish it came with them, but that's another con. It should come with them for $800, but you got 3 levels of grip, extra 2 levels more of extra grip you can get. You got the sandpaper grips, you got these rubber grips, and a medium texture grip. And I'm gonna go with the sandpaper grips because this gun will shoot a whole lot better and a whole lot more comfortable if it's not sliding around as much. And in the competition, it didn't do so bad because my buddy, he gave me some, it's like a liquid chalk basically. So during the competition, that was fine. But when you shoot this without nothing on your hands, this is just slick, guys. I mean, I'm sitting here pressing on it and my thumb's just sliding. Like, I shouldn't be able to put 5 pounds of pressure on that grip and it just slide across. That's just not good for an $800 gun, guys. So I think it should come stock with the medium grips and not these. That's just my opinion. All of them should come stock with the medium grips. So not what I really like there, but we're gonna get the sandpaper grips on here and I'm gonna like that a lot more. All right, guys, moving on to the next thing. Another negative. I kind of hate talking about so much about negatives about this gun when it's a really good gun overall and it has a lot of potential. This gun out of the box could be one of the best striker fire guns out if they just did a few little changes. But anyway, the beaver tail, guys. This is a nice beaver tail. I like it, but the molding had sharp points or kind of bulges right here where it starts turning, right here and right here. And when you gripped it, when I was firing it, that little bulge right there would kind of rub into my tendon and in my bone right there on my hand. It just didn't feel good. when you shoot 100 rounds in a competition in a couple hours, or 200 rounds in a competition in a couple hours, I mean, that's just not going to work, guys. I mean, for an $800 gun, you could have finished this out. But I have sensed, and you probably could see a little bit of wear right here, but I've just blended these polymer parts out a little bit and smoothed them out. And I'm not worried about the looks, guys, as much as I am the practicalness of and how well and how good something feels and performs. So yeah, I just smooth these out, smooth these rough edges out. And from a distance, you can't even tell it. Up close on these nice, with a lot of light, you can see it. But when you have this sitting down here, even in high def, you can't tell I did it. It still looks good. It doesn't hurt the appearance of the gun at all. But it's so much better to shoot, guys, since I've done that. So that's another negative, but now it's fixed. So many things we're starting to fix one at a time, and that's great. And that's what's important, is that we can get it where we want it to be. Another pro I will go into is during the competition with the chalk, the liquid chalk in my hands, on my hands, shooting this gun. It was one of the flattest, non-compensated, non-ported guns that I've ever shot in my life. And I haven't shot like the Alien, made in Czechoslovakia. I haven't shot one of those. I haven't shot, there's a few low bore axis guns. I haven't shot a Daniel Defense yet, H9, but this is one of those low bore axis guns. And I have to say, it does make a difference as long as you can keep your grip consistent and you can keep your hands on the gun really well. This one shoots extremely flat. Talking about that, and since we're talking about that, I'm going to have to hurry up. I'm taking too much time on this video. We're going to probably send this to Mac Defense. Y'all know me, guys. I'm going to cut out a window right here and probably put 5 ports right here. So that's coming up. But we wanted to do initial impressions. I wanted to work some of the bugs out and make sure I could work them out before I spend more money on this gun, because I was thinking about just selling it to somebody else and letting them mess with it and get the kinks worked out of it. Really all it needed probably was a good breaking in it. It made a big difference. But a gun that's $800 in polymer and striker fired shouldn't need a 1,000 round break-in. But I feel like this gun out of the box probably didn't need a 1,000 round break-in before it became 100% reliable with this mag release. Okay, guys, and that's just sad. But now we've got most of those things worked out, so I feel pretty confident that we can start putting a little more money into it and getting it to be what I want it to be from the beginning. So yeah, we got the sandpaper grips ordered. We are fixing to port this sucker and send it off to be ported. Swamp Fox Justice 2, first time I ever had it. I'm going to make a separate video about it, so I'm not going to spend much time. This is a sweet optic, guys. Compared to the 507 Comp Holosun, I kind of like it better in some ways. I'm going to be honest. We're going to compare that in a different video. I might record it today. But anyway, yeah, this optic is awesome. Window's huge. Let's show you real quick compared to the 507 Comp, which y'all know is a huge window. Let's see if I can show you. Okay. And I'm going to look at them just to kind of give you a comparison. The window, looking at it from my point of view, might be just a tad bigger than the 507 Comp. So in that regard, it has the different reticles, it has shake awake, it has bigger buttons. I really like the Swamp Fox Justice 2, and it just looks good on this gun. I kind of like to have this optic on a lot of my guns, to be honest with you. I'd probably trade for it if I could. But yeah, guys, please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'm sure I didn't cover everything. This is just kind of like a early on 125 rounds in sneak peek and before ported video. So we'll make more content with this when it gets ported and when we get the grips on it and I kind of get it where I want it to be. Then we'll talk about it some more. Okay, guys? But God bless. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe. You know, doing these videos takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and time away from family. So please subscribe. God bless. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Have a good day.